Good morning, everybody, and a happy Tuesday morning to everybody. All right, I have a few housekeeping items before we jump into this video. Number one, there will not be a video tomorrow, Wednesday, because it's Christmas. Everybody needs to take a break, so you won't hear from me again until Thursday. Number two, this video is a little different. I'm doing this video in the format of the way I used to do them, where the royal family news is in, so there's only going to be one video today, but it's all encompassing. Let's see what YouTube does with this. This is part of the whole experiment. So let's see. And also at the end, I have another product review for a product that one of you guys sent me. So let's jump in and cover for today. And I will speak to you again Thursday. And I hope everybody has a fabulous Christmas. Let's jump in. Let's go. Really quickly, for those of you who may not know, I was on HD Tutors, the 10 Commandments of This One's Wife. I will put a link to that down in the description box. It's where I get to decide what she has to do for 10 Commandments. It's pretty cool. All right, let's go. All right, I missed this event. It actually happened on December 12th, but Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, visited the Quadram Institute on the research park to hear about its work in protecting and improving health. Now, they opened up in 2019, and they combine a regional endoscopy center, a clinical research facility, and a state-of-the-art bioscience laboratory, and their mission is to deliver healthier lives through innovation in gut health, microbiology, and food. I think that's pretty cool. Princess Anne spoke to over 60 members of the staff and students who are working there. She visited the endoscopy unit. She met with the medical director. She was all over the place, you know her. But it looks like it was a really great visit. She learned a lot, which is the whole point of it. All right, let's move on. This next story I just found interesting. I wanted to touch on it. They're saying that now that the United States is Harry's home, 5 years after he and Meghan ran from Britain, he and Meghan are basically leading separate lives. There have been no pictures of them together. There was one released video message, but we really don't know when that was taken. We don't know when the photos were taken. And now Meghan's like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's just the professional lives that have been separated. It's not their personal lives, but that's not the case. That's not what's being said. They're really leading completely separate lives. I think the penny dropped for Harry, but he can't get out because he has 2 children and he's worried about what will happen with a custody case. I'll keep an eye. Let's move on. We knew this was going to happen. I gave you guys my review of the Polo Show. I told you it was not good. It showed basically animal abuse. It was like a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills sort of thing. Sweaty boys. And basically it showed a bunch of pampered multimillionaires driving around in sports cars and guzzling champagne, etc., etc. Well, the show came out. It was absolutely tanked, and it failed to make the top 10 in Britain, America, or any of the other Netflix regional markets. Now, as I told you in a previous video, Harry and Meghan take no responsibility. They claim it was not their fault what happened because the control for the show and the direction of it was taken out of their hands by Netflix, who wanted this to appeal to the masses, and they pushed the reality TV slant. So they've got nothing to do with it, and it's not their fault. It's Netflix's fault. That sounds like exactly what they said when their Spotify thing went. It wasn't their fault. It was Spotify's fault because there was, too much red tape. Do these two take responsibility for anything? Now, the head of reputation management consultants, his name is Eric Schiffer, told Newsweek that it was a pompous portrayal of privileged posing as a documentary. You could almost see the ad. It felt fake, and they've made it the new frontier of unreliability, that this ensures Polo becomes less popular for the regular people because it reeks of entitlement and disconnection. It's completely unrelatable. Now, by the way, they reached out to Netflix for a comment on the, viewing numbers, and guess what? Netflix didn't respond. Oh, gee. This show was trashed by The Guardian. It was trashed by The Times. It's getting, 2 stars. It's a flop. It's a fail. And it looks like Harry and Meghan's contract is going bye-bye next year. I'm sorry. I just don't see it being renewed. Let's move on. Here we go with the main meat of this video. You guys have been writing to me about the Daily Mail for quite some time. I always thought they were reputable, apparently not. So I want to look at some of the stuff that's been coming out recently. Okay, let's cover it. These are the articles that make me wonder what the hell has happened to the Daily Mail. I never thought of the Daily Mail as anything other than a reputable magazine, a reputable newspaper, but I'm getting to realize that that is not the case. This article came out that says that prominent royals like Zara Tindall have deals that they don't want you to know about. Cash for connections bought by a wealthy Hong Kong socialite. He's an Anglo-Chinese investment tycoon named Dr. Johnny Han. And the article talks all about how he has ties to UK society. Now, let me tell you what the article says, and then I'll point out, or maybe I'll just point out as we go, that my problems with this. It says that it's not what you know, it's who you know. And a perfect example is Anglo-Chinese entrepreneur Dr. Johnny Han, and that his life seems to revolve around doing nothing but posing for pictures alongside the great, good, and not so good. There are members of the royal family, a top jockey at Ascot, then he's shaking hands with Andrew Lloyd Webber, smiling with Samuel Jackson and Al Pacino, and hobnobbing with Lionel Messi. The article goes on to talk about how the Duchess of York, Zara Tindall, Peter Phillips have either received or are set to get thousands of pounds from this particular businessman. When it comes down to Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, they're saying that she has been behind a number of commercial ventures, worked on as a director on 2 media investment companies that are linked to Dr. Han. According to the article, after agreeing to introduce him to the now deceased entrepreneur David Tang, documents obtained by the newspaper show that she was paid $72,000 a year to work as a non-executive director of Hong Kong-based Global Groups Entertainment Limited, which was set up by Dr. Han from June of 2017 until last October. So basically, they asked her to work for the company. Remember, she has no income. She's not bankrolled by the royal family. She's not a senior royal. She didn't monetize her title, but she went and got a job. And what the Daily Mail is saying is she shouldn't have. Let's talk about Zara now. She was appointed as a non-executive director of Global Group International Holdings Limited. Her job was to advise on horse racing. Her salary is £100,000 a year. The minimum requirements of her role were to generally advise the company, attend 2 board meetings a year, which she could do over the phone, and attend 4 functions organized by the company. So let me get this straight. She's not a senior royal. She doesn't have a title. You never heard anything about this role because she wasn't using who she is to monetize herself. She has earned her right as an equestrian, and he wanted to use her in that capacity, and God love her, she wanted to be paid for it. Who does she think she is? I mean, seriously, Daily Mail? Now, the Daily Mail says that she's benefited from her status, even though she doesn't have a title and she's not a senior royal and she doesn't really do royal things unless called upon, because she's an ambassador for Rolex and Land Rover. Now, let me tell you something. Sports athletes that go to the Olympics and win gold medals make a ton of money getting paid to show jewelry and those sorts of things. So this is what she did, and she's a rotten person for it, according to Daily Mail. Daily Mail wants you to believe this is some big scoop, but this article that you're looking at above right now is from August of 2019, where they talked then about Zara being paid for a non-executive directorship at the global group of companies owned by Dr. Han. She was appointed to advise on horse racing for sports investment arm. She was contractually required to do a job, and she got paid for it. So this is nothing new. This is information that's been out in the public realm, but I guess people aren't paying attention to it, and so for whatever reason, they're throwing it out there again to try to smear the royal family. Nice try, Daily Mail. We see you. Going back now to the Duchess of York, on top of her director fees that she got that I told you about earlier, she apparently received £200,000 for marketing and promotion from an offshore bank in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 2017. Those related to her role at a British media investment company. 3 months later, she got a 90,000 pound loan signed off by Dr. Hahn to help her with one of her fledgling companies. He also apparently helped businessman Jeff Morrow, a former songwriter for Barry Manilow and Elvis Presley, purchase the bank in Kingstown, St. Vincent. I mean, come on. Apparently, the Duchess submitted a handwritten invoice to the bank in 2017 while working for Dr. Morrow and Dr. Hahn. In July, she requested a loan from the company, and that's the loan that she got. Let me tell you what the big problem is. The Daily Mail is trying to say that what they did is the same thing that Harry and Meghan have done, and nobody questions, them. So why is it okay for them and not for Harry and Meghan? Well, there's a big difference. Harry and Meghan have absolutely monetized their titles. Harry and Meghan have trashed the royal family. Harry and Meghan were living off the private, purse when they were working for the royal family. There's a big difference. And by the way, Harry works for Better Up. He gets $1 million a year, and we still don't know what the hell he does there. So I think that the Daily Mail is becoming more and more pro-Sussex and more let's take down the royal family at every turn. And here's another article that came out that makes me think that. They came out talking about how Andrew was such an embarrassment to the royal family that he should do the decent thing and withdraw from public view over Christmas, which is what happened. He did not attend the lunch at the, Buckingham Palace. He did not go to the Christmas Day walk, the church from Sandringham. He's staying away from the private Norfolk retreat. And Beatrice and Eugenie had already decided earlier they were going to go hang out with their in-laws. But with all of this, they're going on about how Andrew is still a counselor of state, just like Harry. Harry does not meet the qualifications to be a counselor of state anymore. He doesn't live in the UK. He's already put his permanent residence as the United States. There are 7 of the counselor of states that can legally step in to help if the king becomes incapacitated due to a temporary basis of illness or absence abroad. And in 2022, the counselors of state were Queen Camilla, Prince William, Harry, Prince Andrew, and Princess Beatrice. But of course, with everything going on with Harry and the Duke of York, and of course, Beatrice is not a working royal, so now Princess Anne and Prince Edward have been added to the list. But it was reported that he did not remove Harry and Andrew because he didn't want to escalate family tensions. But it doesn't really matter, though, if he's counselor of state. There's 7 people in the pool and you only need 3, so he will never be called. But what this article from the Daily Mail is saying basically is that Andrew is a danger to the reputation of the royal family and he can't be seen in public with them, but yet he's okay to be head of state. And Harry, of course, who publicly criticized the royals and betrayed his family, would still be in the line to succeed the king if disaster were to strike the Windsors. So what they're saying is the king should be stripping Andrew and Harry of their former roles and their places in the line of succession while still treating them as loved ones in private if he so chooses. Now, I do have to say I completely agree with that, especially when it comes to Harry. Andrew, I don't know about, but Harry, absolutely. In the meantime, Andrew has repeatedly shown that he has really bad judgment when it comes to friends and associates. So Andrew notwithstanding, it sounds to me like the Daily Mail is constantly trying to throw somebody in the family, the royal family, under the bus. They want to regurgitate old stories, as I just showed you, to make you question the royal family and what they're doing. This is Richard Eden who keeps writing these articles, by the way. Zara doesn't work for the royal family. She has every right to make money. The same thing with Sarah. She doesn't work for the royal family. And these are the 2, and Peter Phillips. These are the 3 main people they're complaining about. I mean, get a grip, people. All right, let's move on now to the product review. Several months ago, one of you sent me this called Wonder Skin, and here's the color. I believe it's called Whimsical, if I'm looking at that correctly. So they want you to make sure that your lips are clean and free, and then here we go. So we're gonna do the test, and this is the product again. It's called Wonder Skin. You put it on your lips, and let me put it on, and then I'll show you what I look like. It's purple. Now I'm going to wait, it's wet, and I'm gonna wait for it to dry, and then we'll come back. It was completely dry in about 2 minutes. So we're dry, now we wipe it off. Ooh. Hope it comes off easy. No, it does. And that's the final color. It's a lip stain. I like it. I like the color a lot. Then I decide to add just a little bit of shine with some lip oil. Sorry. And there it is. And supposedly I can eat and drink all day and the color will stay. Now, as I'm getting ready to leave on vacation, I won't be able to do a follow-up, but I will say that it does appear to have stained my lips and I do enjoy the color a lot. So I'm going to say that's a win. Merry Christmas to everybody. Leave those comments, make them good. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe and the thumbs up button. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the links to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon, which is currently paused, my Amazon wish list, and my physical address. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to everybody, and I'll see you on Thursday.